Is GBC News. The headlines. NatWest International cuts 32 jobs in Gibraltar. Legislation implementing the provisions in the treaty for frontier workers, gazetted. The new school term confirmed to begin on the 1st of September. Rose Swissa retires from the GHA after more than half a century of service. And youngsters attending Cycle's summer programme fundraise for the EV Foundation. Good evening. NatWest International is cutting 32 back-office jobs in Gibraltar, according to Unite the Union. The bank says the changes will not affect customer-facing staff or banking services locally.
Staff were told about the changes earlier this week, with the Chief Operating Officer understood to be the department most affected. Unite the Union says 32 Gibraltar employees are affected. One employee who has been given notice told GBC there are currently no internal vacancies available to them. NatWest Group says the changes are aimed at simplifying how it operates, with some of the roles being centralised within the wider group. NatWest International is part of NatWest Group, with International Bank headquartered in Jersey. Similar job cuts are expected in Jersey and Guernsey. The bank says affected staff will be supported and offered alternative roles where possible, subject to ring-fencing rules and regulations. But Unite the Union says the redeployment opportunities available are across the UK, and that local employees do not see them as realistic alternatives. Unite representative Donovan Correa says the union is supporting affected staff and ensuring the process is carried out properly and in line with employment regulations. NatWest says the changes will not affect banking services in Gibraltar, and that it remains committed to the local market and community.
New regulations implementing the provisions of Gibraltar's treaty relating to frontier workers have now been gazetted. They apply to EU citizens who are legally resident in Spain and work here in Gibraltar.
Frontier workers, including those who are self-employed, must return to Spain at least once a week. The new regulations provide for frontier workers to enter, stay and leave Gibraltar in order to work, to register with employment services and receive assistance in finding employment on the same conditions as UK nationals in Gibraltar. The regulations also ensures that UK nationals legally residing in Gibraltar are treated equally in employment, pay and working conditions, social and tax benefits, trade union rights and access to vocational training. Family members are also covered, but frontier workers will not have any rights to housing. The regulations set out circumstances in which a frontier worker can retain their status if they become unemployed, are temporarily unable to work because of illness or injury, or undertake vocational training. It establishes a certificate of frontier worker status, which will be issued by the Director of Employment. Applications must be made online through the government's eGov website and accompanied by a valid identity document and evidence that the applicant is a frontier worker. The certificate can be issued electronically and is valid for 1 year. It can be renewed, although the Director of Employment can refuse renewal or revoke a certificate if the holder ceases to be or never was a frontier worker. The law also provides for restrictions on frontier worker rights on grounds including public policy, public security and public health, subject to specified conditions. Those affected by a restriction measure have a right of appeal to the Supreme Court. A schedule of terms and conditions of employment is also attached. These include maximum work periods and minimum rest periods, minimum paid annual leave and remuneration.
The new school term will begin on Tuesday, the 1st of September. Year groups will return on different days and at different times. Summer hours will run up to and including Wednesday, the 9th of September, with winter hours and full school days beginning the day after National Day on Friday, 11th.
Lower primary, upper primary and secondary year groups will begin from the week commencing on Tuesday, the 1st of September, with start dates for each year group staggered throughout the rest of the week. Bayside and Westside's Year 13 consortium will start on Tuesday the 1st of September, and Year 12s will begin on Friday the 11th of September. College students will be advised of their start term arrangements directly by the college. St. Martin's and Early Birds Nursery will be opening on Tuesday the 1st of September, with parents and carers advised of the start of the term arrangements directly from the school. Further information can be found on the government's Facebook page.
The urology surgeon who performed Gibraltar's first remote operation says the future of artificial intelligence in surgery is very exciting. Professor Prakhar Dasgupta of the London Clinic says, however, that winning the trust of patients and the public is vital. This week, Professor Dasgupta delivered a talk at St. Bernard's on the future of AI in healthcare. Cristina Cortes spoke to him, warning this report does have some graphic images.
AI is here today. There are the pros and there are the cons. The pros are more than the cons. AI is not here to replace human beings. AI is here to augment the surgeon. For example, today we can see within a patient the amount of oxygen that is passing into the tissues. So if you cut something and you have taken away the blood supply or the oxygen, then it is not going to work, even if you do a beautiful job. AI now allows us the opportunity to see things which my eyes could not see before. We can, for example, today take an organ, say a prostate gland, we can take the scan from it, an MRI scan, we can then pass that through an AI called Mona AI label. We can get a 3D print of the patient's prostate, and we can individualize, personalize the operation to that patient, not do the same job for every patient. But this has to be done in a responsible fashion. There are concerns about data privacy, about patients not having the trust in AI, so it has to be done in a responsible fashion. Telesurgery is one of the best examples internationally of responsible AI that we have delivered between the London Clinic and Gibraltar Health Authority.
So you mentioned the concerns that people have over AI. I think the concern that many people have is less human oversight. So what safeguards are in place to ensure that there is human input and insight and that things are checked?
So there has to be a human in the loop. People are talking about autonomy all the time. Recently, in the Nature journal, we have had humanoid robots being able to do gallbladder surgery. We have had a fully automated robot from Johns Hopkins in the United States able to take out a gallbladder in a pig. So these are all in a lab. I don't think these things are going to take away the human judgment, because that is vital. Second, we need a lot of data to train these algorithms. That diversity of data is fundamental. If you choose a population and try to use their data into a different population, it's not going to work. The AI is going to make mistakes. And finally, that data has to be sovereign. You cannot just pass it across borders. You cannot use the wrong data, and you cannot make the public feel that their data is being used where it shouldn't be used. So winning the trust of patients and the public is vital. If we don't do that, then AI in surgery, as in everything else in life, is inevitably going to fail. So it is up to us as clinicians to build trust and responsibility in AI systems.
And finally, what message would you like people to take away from this talk today here at the St. Bernard's Hospital, the healthcare professionals to whom you'll be speaking?
I think the future of AI in surgery is very, very exciting. Look, there is ambient AI already here. Heidi, for example, can generate letters for us, can accurately record the patient data, that conversation, use natural language processing, and provide that input much faster than a human being can. So that is already here. The message I want to give to our patients and the public here is that this is a very exciting future, as long as we do it responsibly. Telesurgery is part of that responsible AI ecosystem. There is already such an ecosystem which is funded by UK Research and Innovation, where we are trying to put AI champions in every hospital. Gibraltar can lead on telesurgery, not just for Gibraltar, but for the whole of UK. wider still into Europe, and learn the lessons from Gibraltar into the rest of the world. I think this is going to be very positive. One of the downsides is the future of work. That is going to change, inevitably. Those who want to do well in that future will have to embrace AI. AI is not going to replace them. It is just going to change the future of work. So I am incredibly positive about the role that AI will play in the future of surgery.
You're watching GBC News. Still to come, more than 5 decades of service. Rose Swissa retires from the GHA. A young entrepreneur turns the Eclipse into a charity fundraiser, and we'll tell you about Cycle's charity fundraising efforts down at the Piazza tomorrow. Back in just a few minutes. Stay with us. Welcome back. Rose Swissa, a familiar face for many, has retired from the GHA after 53 years in the civil service. Her career has followed the development of primary care, from the healthcare down at Casemates to the service we all know today.
Rose Swissa started working at St Bernard's Hospital on the 4th of April 1973 in the administration of the laboratory department. She later joined the team setting up the healthcare centre at Casemates, beginning a career in primary care that would span more than 5 decades. Rose went on to become healthcare manager and senior executive officer, with responsibility for primary care services and staff. She was later involved in the development of the new primary care and children's health centres, and played a key role in establishing Gibraltar's vaccination centre during the COVID-19 pandemic. The GHA and government have thanked her for her long service, saying that after 53 years in the GHA, there is very little in Gibraltar's primary care services today that does not in some way carry Rose Swissa's fingerprints.
Now, as thousands of us looked up at Wednesday evening's eclipse, one young entrepreneur who had helped make sure many of us could do so safely had seen an opportunity and sold thousands of pairs of eclipse glasses from a stall in Ocean Village. What started off as what his dad called a silly idea turned into an extraordinary charity fundraiser, raising more than £7,500. Mason Quayle and his mum Kerry were on Gibraltar today.
My dad decided to look on Facebook because he wanted to get us some glasses. So he was looking on Facebook and looking all over the internet. And what happened was he found someone that was selling them for £5, I think it was. So I said, let me look on Amazon and see how much I can see how much it is. And I found one that was like €1. So I said to him, let's buy this and we can sell it. Every time we sold some, we had to end up ordering more and more and more because people just kept coming.
It's been a really good outcome, and we're so glad that everyone come to support us. Alison and the team at TV Minis, like they put up with a lot of like phone calls, people coming in when we weren't there. So we're really supportive from people, everyone that came to purchase the glasses. Obviously, we had notices to say that it was for charity, so people were given extra. So it's been really, really good. The community has really pulled together. It's been amazing.
And tell us about the charity that you're supporting.
So the charity is called the Animal Collective. In my dad's work, there are a couple of people that volunteer there and help them. So he's like, oh, let's do it for them, because he felt bad because the poor dogs. So we always like helping the animals.
Youngsters enrolled in Cycle's summer programme will be fundraising for the EV Foundation down at the Piazza tomorrow. Change Your Energy, Change Your Life aims to empower all of those who sign up, and the EV Foundation helps disadvantaged families and supports vulnerable children. Ahead of tomorrow, though, they had one major obstacle to pass. Their fundraising ideas needed to be approved by a team of dragons.
Two teams, two different ideas on how to raise as much as possible for the Evie Foundation. These ideas needed to be sold to the dragons.
And vanilla extracts. We have planned to do a bake sale, bookmarks, a happiness in a jar, which is motivational quotes inside of a cup to uplift people's day, and just to have fun.
How difficult has it been to get to this?
Well, as we have to work together and we've met each other like not too long ago, we have to, talk everything out and agree on the same thing. So I'd say it was quite difficult, but at the same time it was quite, easy.
So we had a lot of ideas, didn't we? So we had the sponge the mento, where we basically just throw a wet sponge at one of the mentors that volunteered. We have shortbread chocolate chip cookies and lemonade, which is my specialty. And
we came up with a range of ideas, such as the loom bands as well, and the keychains for a memorable experience for people to remember the day. And we just hope to help the Evie Foundation.
And so the road to their fundraising has not been easy, and the students presented their ideas to the panel, who had to decide how much money the charity would give them to invest in the wares they'll be selling tomorrow.
It's been great to listen to both teams present their business model and plan, and I thought both teams did really well. It's not easy to present to a group of strangers, to adults, and they've presented their ideas very clearly. They thought about their budgets, and they were all very keen to raise funds for the Evie Foundation. So very impressed with both teams, and I wish them great success on Saturday.
So CYCLE is actually the acronym for Change Your Energy, Change Your Life. So it's actually about being able to bring in opportunities for young people to feel good about themselves. We work a lot with their emotional well-being, their overall well-being, and to give them an opportunity to tap into their actual true potential, because they all carry an incredible potential.
We all sort of want, I think all the dragons secretly want to go there on Saturday and tell people, come on, please donate, they've worked so hard.
Yeah. I think it's not even about the money, it's about the journey they've taken to get here and the teamwork. I mean, some of them are strangers, so the fact that in such short time they've been able to get on so well, mesh well. We've been, the past 2 weeks, changing the groups around, and then this business one is like the group for this week. So they've had to relearn how to work with people. And when you tell them that it's for a charity so close to home, such a special charity, Nicole Jones started, I think that encourages them even more to want to raise more money, to want to come up with better ideas and to work really well together. So I think that's the magic of CYCLE.
If you want to support the teams, they'll be providing homemade cakes, lemonade and fun at the piazza between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Over to sport. Changes are coming to domestic football and a local cricket umpire to officiate a World Cup qualifier. But first, some Europa League action.
Last night, Lincoln Red Imps lost 1-0 to Omonia Nicosia away from home in the second leg of the Europa League third round qualifier. It finished 2-1 on aggregate to the Cypriot champions, who progress. For Lincoln, they fall into the last round of the Conference League qualifiers. The playoff tie will see them take on Larne FC of Northern Ireland next week. These two sides have met before twice, last time in this exact same position 2 years ago, with Larne FC qualifying 4-3 on aggregate. Staying with football, the domestic league kicks off next week and there's been a shake-up to the race for Europe. 4 places up for grabs now. League champions go to the Champions League qualifiers, league runners-up to conference, and the Rock Cup winners also go to conference. And now the introduction of the league's European playoff means there'll be more to play for as the season reaches its decisive stages, as clubs fight for the final Conference League spot, a change that was led between both the GFA and the clubs.
We had various discussions about how we can improve the league and for it to be more attractive to to not just the clubs but the players and the fans as well. It's very attractive for everyone involved. You know, you're playing, every point is important. There's no, what you'd say, you know, dead rubber games. You know, coming third is as important is more important than coming fourth. Fourth is more important than coming fifth, and so on. And then the same with the bottom five this year, because there's only 11 teams. The same with the bottom five, where they're fighting for that 7th spot, is vital because you know you can get in.
Local umpire Sunil Chandiramani has been appointed by the International Cricket Council to officiate at the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup qualifier. It's taking place this week and next week in Finland.
And that is all from the news team. Don't forget, you can, as always, catch up on our website and across our social media pages. But just before you go, our cameramen captured the morning fog as it rolled into the bay from the east and across the city centre. We leave you with those images. Good night to you all. Have a great weekend.